Hey everyone, Alexander Matthias here from Saxophone and in today's video we're going to talk about going from C to D, which is called the break on the saxophone. The reason it's called the break is that we're moving from the lower octave of the instrument into the higher octave of the instrument with the octave key. Now hopefully you've been watching my course Saxophone from Scratch, so by now you should know how to breathe, how to position your embouchure, how to get your first few notes. If you haven't, just go to saxophonemasterclass.com/beginners and you can also download the free ebook that I have. So let's move on. I'm going to recap the first three notes that I showed you in a previous lesson and then move on to C and D. So I've already shown you how to play G, which is those three fingers in the left hand, A, which is the first two fingers in the left hand, and B, which is just your index finger here. Now middle C is going to be this guy here. So instead of A, which is those two fingers down, we're just pressing down this middle finger right here. And it sounds like this. Now, this is where it gets difficult. We're going to move from C to D. D is those three fingers in the left hand, meaning G, plus the three fingers pressing down in the right hand. So again, we have our thumb rest here and we place our thumb right underneath, so it's taking some of the weight of the saxophone. We wrap our hand around. We try not to press any of these side keys or any of these bottom keys here. And we place our fingers on each one of these keys. 1, 2, 3. So that's our index finger, middle finger, and ring finger. 1, 2, 3. And we press those three keys down in addition to those top three keys, and that creates a D note. Now to go from C to D is quite difficult, so you got to practice just moving your fingers from C to D like this without even playing. So you can practice getting all of those down in one go. In addition to that, when we're going into the high D or middle D with the octave key, we got to press this key at the back. So our thumb rest is here, and we've got to press this octave key here. So in addition to going from C to D, we've got to press this while we're pressing D. So we go C and then D, which is octave key and all of these fingers together. So this is quite difficult for beginners and it takes a little bit of time to get used to. What I recommend is practicing just switching from C to D without playing. Just try to get that motion, right? Keep your fingers very close to the keys and try to just get that motion smooth. Once you've worked on that, you can then add in that octave key we talked about. So again, without playing, just switch from C to D with the octave key. A good tip is to actually keep your thumb here lightly on the octave key without pressing it. So it's just slightly there. So you're not moving your thumb right off the key, right off the thumb rest. You're actually slightly resting it on top so that you can do a smooth motion like that. Okay, just by the tip of your thumb. So work on just getting those fingerings right before you start playing. So now I'm going to show you how to practice going from C to D with the octave key while you blow. So again, we want to take a big diaphragmatic breath. We want to make sure our embouchure is correct. We want to make sure we're positioning our mouth on the mouthpiece correctly. And then we want to try and just play C by itself, like this. So make sure you're confident with that, make sure you're getting it consistently, try it 1 or 2 times, and then we're going to move on to just playing D like this. So we have all our fingers down again with the octave key, and we try playing it. Okay, so we just want to practice D until we get it very consistent and confidently. Now we're just going to practice going from D down to C. So as you can see, when we move from D to C, we're lifting up all the fingers apart from this guy here. So just practice doing that. And now we're going to practice playing D and moving to C. most common problem is that you don't let go of the octave key in time, and you end up going up into the high register of the instrument like this. So we want to avoid that. We want to make sure we're lifting up the octave key just in time before we hit the C note. So this should be the first thing that you work on. Go from D down to C. Don't work on going from C to D, as that can be a little more complicated. When you get confident at playing D to C, then we can work on playing from C up to D, like this. So the important thing here is to take a deep breath and make sure that you're pressing the octave key when you're going up to D and releasing the octave key when you're going down to C. From this point, just practice going back and forth between C and D, like this. So there's just a couple of tips to help you with playing C to D on the saxophone. Now if you want more lessons like this, you can go to saxophonemasterclass.com/join and you can be a member of the Sax Masters Academy, where I take you through a ton of lessons from beginners to learning how to play songs to learning how to improvise. In the meantime, I'm going to be releasing videos every Friday on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. It really helps out the channel. Alright everyone, I will see you soon.